Welcome into New York Giants Now by Chat Sports. I'm your host, Marshall Green, and we've got a loaded show for you. Are the Giants out on Kayvon Thibodeaux? A report came out. We'll break it down. And Kadarius Toney, he's in the building. He's in East Rutherford, and he's there for the Giants' voluntary workouts. Could the Giants trade Darius Slayton? A report came out that they are shopping him and not Kadarius Toney. And what about drafting Derek Stingley at pick number 7? Jeremy Fowler said that's a realistic opportunity. And Daniel Jeremiah, he had Garrett Wilson going number 7 to the Giants in his latest mock draft. And then at the end of the show, we'll get the Athletics top 10 big board for the New York Football Giants. But first, Darius Slayton and the report from Dan Duggan stating that the Giants are shopping him. And it makes sense. The Giants, they need some more playmakers at the receiver spot. And if you could trade Slayton for a 5th, a 6th, a 7th round pick on top of clearing $2.5 million in cap space for a team like the New York Giants that are up against the salary cap and really right now don't have enough money to sign all their rookie draft picks, I think Darius Slayton would be a good player to move. And if the Giants are able to move him, that's a win for Joe Schoen, because a lot of teams right now are like, why would I trade a 5th, 6th, 7th round pick for Darius Slayton when I can go out and get Tyquan Thornton, get my own Darius Slayton? It makes a lot of sense to trade him. At the end of the day, though, I'm not sure if the Giants are going to be able to find a trade partner for Darius Slayton. The latest around Kadarius Toney is that he's actually in the building. According to Bobby Skinner, he said it on his podcast today that Kadarius Toney is and has been in New York and New Jersey since Saturday and in the Giants facility. What happened on Saturday? It was a day after the report from Pat Leonard that the Giants were trading Kadarius Toney. So Toney heard that. He got up and he shot to the Giants facility. He doesn't want to be traded. It's an honor to play for the New York Giants. I hope Kadarius Toney learns that. Ryan Dunleavy, he doubled down and said this is accurate. Kadarius Toney is in the building. Toney is in the building. I'm a fan of that. I like Kadarius Toney as a player. I think he needs to get his head on a little bit more straight. I have some cause for concerns of things that's gone on throughout his young NFL career, but there's no doubt he has all-pro talent. If you forgot about it, go watch the Dallas Cowboys game again this year where he had Mike Glennon throwing him the rock. And then Ari Miroff, My Sports Update, he doubled down on that report and said Giants wide receiver Kadarius Toney, subject of some trade speculation, has reported to teams' voluntary workouts. The Giants weren't necessarily shopping him around, according to Ari, but calls always come in on players. But sounds like the new staff would like to work with him. And that makes sense. The Giants, they're thin on playmakers, and Kadarius Toney, when he has the ball in his hands, is one of the most electric playmakers in the NFL. So we've talked about 2 trade rumors on the show already. Kadarius Toney and Darius Slayton. Trading Slayton saves about $2.5 million. You might be able to get a 3rd round pick or a late 2nd round pick for Kadarius Toney if you were to move on from him. Doesn't sound like the Giants are actually going to do so. But if you had to pick one to trade, who would you rather trade? Type 89 in the comment section for Kadarius Toney, or you can go down and type 86 in the comment section if you'd rather trade Darius Slayton. More draft rumors to get to surrounding the New York Football Giants. And are the Giants out on Kayvon Thibodeaux? Dan Duggan reported that the Giants have concerns about his personality. I mean, Thibodeaux has been slipping in the draft boards since the NFL draft cycle really started. When the college football season ended, he was kind of the consensus number 1 pick. And right now, he's outside the top 10 on some mock drafts. Teams are concerned with his work ethic, with how bad he wants to be great. I don't really get that vibe. I obviously haven't talked to him one-on-one. People talk about he takes plays off. I don't see that. When I watch his tape, I see someone with a high motor that has all the athletic skill sets to be a great edge rusher, and he can dominate in the NFL because that's what he did at Oregon as a true freshman. There are concerns, though. I don't really have them. But Joe Schoen, he was asked about what he wants to do in the NFL draft with the first 2 picks and the types of players he wants to target. He said this: it's our first 2 picks as New York Giant head coach and general manager. In terms of foundational pieces, in terms of being good players, the type of players we want, it's very important. This was a Dan Duggan report about how the Giants are out on Kayvon Thibodeaux. He said this: it would be a surprise if the Giants draft Thibodeaux because some members of the front office have been turned off by his personality, according to a source, but Shane will make the final call. So it's impossible to say with certainty what he'll do if Thibodeaux is available when the Giants are on the clock. And I like that. I want my general manager having final say-so, the ability to call all the shots in the NFL draft. Because that's why we hired Joe Schoen, to be the NFL draft guru that made the Buffalo Bills so good. Kayvon Thibodeaux, if you're scared that he's not going to be all in, that he doesn't really want to be a national football player, I'm cool with taking him off your board. But if you have no concerns and he's available at pick 5 or number 7, I'd be down to draft him because I think he has all-pro talent. Peter King today refuted the report that Dan Duggan had about the Giants not being interested, and he said this. So we got conflicting reports on Thibodeaux. Lots of stuff out there in the ether right now about the Giants being down on Thibodeaux, but I can tell you they are interested and have done a ton of work on him since his pro day. And that's true. They were at his pro day. They had multiple people there. There's reports that he came in for a pre-draft 30 visit, and they had one-on-one conversations with him. If that all checks off, he'd be a damn good New York Football Giant. Because what he did as Oregon, he showed that he could be the number 1 player in the NFL draft. 22 sacks in 32 games, 36 tackles for loss, 20 QB hits, and 74 hurries. This is someone that could be a day 1 edge rusher on the opposite side of Azeez Ojulari. Azeez Ojulari, Kayvon Thibodeaux, Leonard Williams. Of any first-round pick I think the Giants could make with 5 or 7, I think Thibodeaux shifts the future and the expectations for the 2022 NFL Draft more than anybody else. Because you get someone that could be an all-pro player early on in his career. I mean, the guy has an unreal first step. He is an explosive athlete, 6'4", 254 pounds, ran a 4.58 40. This is someone that reminds me of a better pass rushing Jadeveon Clowney. He's an extreme athlete. He's great against the run, just as he is against the pass. Thing is, he does have some cons to him, some concerns. His pass rush moves, like a lot of young pass rushers that come into the NFL draft, needs some work because he often won with his strength and athleticism in the Pac-12 last year. That's a good and a bad thing because sometimes in the NFL you can't just win with brute strength and sheer athleticism. You need technique. Thibodeaux needs to sharpen up on that. And as we've talked about, does he want to be great? Does he want to be the best version of himself that he can be? Well, we'll find that out real soon once he's in the NFL. But do you want the Giants to draft Kayvon Thibodeaux? They have a needed edge rusher. Thibodeaux, he might have the highest ceiling of all edge rushers in this draft. So get in the comment section and let me know. Type D if you do want the Giants to draft him. If not, you can go down and type P for pass. What about drafting Derek Stingley at pick number 7? Jeremy Fowler put out a report a couple of days ago that Stingley is a name to watch for the Giants at number 7. And I think that more so has to do with the report that Sauce Gardner is going to be a lock for a top 4 pick in the NFL draft. Whether it's the Houston Texans or the New York Jets, I don't think Sauce Gardner makes it to 5. Stingley could have the most upside and natural talent of any cornerback in the draft. And I think it's true. What you saw him do his freshman year in the SEC, he was the best cornerback in college football as a true freshman, lining up against number 1 wide receivers in the SEC. 6 interceptions, 21 pass breakups, played in only 10 games in his sophomore and junior season. But that freshman season showed every NFL scout that Stingley could follow in the long lineage of corners that have come out at LSU and been dominant pros in the National Football League. There are injury concerns. I have that. But if he can get healthy, if he can stay on the field, he has the potential to be one of the best corners in the NFL. Look, I don't think Gardner's going to be there at 5. I'd love to be wrong. But if they're both there on the board, pick a corner for me. Type SG for Sauce Gardner or DS for Derek Stingley. Garrett Wilson, what about drafting him at pick number 7? Daniel Jeremiah did a mock draft today on Monday on draft week and had the Giants selecting the playmaking wide receiver out of Columbus with their second first-round pick, number 7 overall. Wilson, he's the number 1 wide receiver on my draft board. He reminds me of a little bit more athletic and twitchy version of Stephon Diggs. This is someone that I think is going to be great after the catch. He has the body control to go up and win one-on-one jump balls. The Giants, it would be a good pick for the fact that it fills a position in need. Right now, the Giants' wide receiver room is extremely lackluster. Sterling Shepard coming off an Achilles injury. Kadarius Toney, who knows if he's going to be on the Giants. Kenny Golladay, 0 touchdowns last year, and they're shopping Darius Slayton. So what if you could draft a guy at pick number 7 that had 70 grabs last year, 12 tutties, 15 yards a catch, and 1,000 yards? What's the best way to find out or help a young quarterback? Go get him a wide receiver one. And that's what Garrett Wilson is going to be in the National Football League. He could be a day one starter for the Giants. And in week one, he'd probably already be their number one receiver. A receiver room going forward of Galladay, Toney, Garrett Wilson. I think that's something that Daniel Jones or maybe a quarterback they take next year, trade for or sign, would be very happy with throwing the football to. Garrett Wilson is going to be a great football player in the NFL. Will it be with the New York Giants? Let me know what you would do if you're the GM. Should the Giants draft Garrett Wilson? Type Y for yes, or if not, you can go down and type N for no. Now on today's show, the last segment of today's show. The Athletic, they put out a top 10 big board for the New York Giants. And I think that's noteworthy because Joe Schoen said it. Once he took the job as the Giants general manager, he wants to have in his head 7 people on the draft board that he is happy with taking at picks 5 or 7. If he has 7 players that he likes, he said he's going to be able to sleep well at night. And I don't want Joe Schoen not sleeping well at night. I need him sleeping well right next to his wife. So this is the Athletics big board for the New York Giants. Aiden Hutchinson was number 1. No surprise there. But it does sound like Travon Walker is going to be the favorite to be the number 1 pick in the 2022 NFL draft. The Athletic had Ikem Ekwonu at number 2, my favorite tackle in this draft. I love what he's able to do as a run blocker. I think he's a little bit less progressed as a pass blocker compared to number 3 on this list, Evan Neal. But I like the nastiness Ikem Ekwonu plays with. Neal was number 3. I think he's the most complete tackle in this draft. Sauce Gardner was number 4. Then Charles Cross, number 5. The Giants, they've talked a lot about Cross. They're high on him. They like his pass blocking skills. And he's a great athlete. And in an NFL league where it's a pass-happy league, it makes sense. Travon Walker, number 6. Kayvon Thibodeaux, my second edge rusher on my big board after Hutchinson. I think he's got the most potential of any edge rusher in this draft. Derek Stingley, number 8. Jermaine Johnson, number 9. And Kyle Hamilton, number 10. That's what the top 10 draft board looks like. Who knows what the Giants are going to do on draft night? If I knew, I'd tell you. I'd give you the secrets. If I had a magic crystal ball, I'd rub it all day long. That sounded weird. But I'd find out who the Giants would pick at 5 and 7. I don't think you want to hear from me anymore, but I want to hear from you in the comments section. What is your dream scenario for round 1? Pick 5 and 7. Give me 2 names in the comment section right now. The 2 guys you want the Giants to pick in round 1.